So let's talk about the signs that your mind might work a little differently than most people's. What's really interesting is that a lot of people who have these traits don't even have a clue that they're all that uncommon.
So let me ask you this straight up. Have you ever had that feeling that your brain is just operating on a completely different frequency than everyone else around you? Well, let's find out if that feeling is right on the money.
Okay, we're gonna explore 6 specific signs. And listen, this is the most important part. If you recognize even just 3 or 4 of these in yourself, there's a really good chance your mind works in a way that truly sets you apart from the crowd.
Let's dive right in. Our first couple of signs are all about what's going on inside your head, the world of your thoughts.
Okay, first up, sign number 1. You are convinced that being alone is way better than being in a crowd. Now, this isn't about being shy. It's about how your mental battery just gets zapped in social settings. But then, the second you're by yourself, your brain just lights up. It becomes super active and creative.
So, why does that happen?
Well, think about it like this. Group chats often just skim the surface, you know? But your mind, it loves to go deep. You're just more comfortable alone because that's the quiet space where your best, deepest ideas can finally come up for air. And that leads us perfectly into our second sign, which is basically the engine driving everything we just talked about, deep thinking. You see, for most people, finding an answer is kind of the finish line. But for you, that's just a starting gun. You don't just stop at what? You have this natural urge to dig deeper to why, and then go even further, all the way down to how. You just have to understand how things really work underneath it all. Now, look, I get it. This constant need to dig can be exhausting sometimes. But this quote from our source material just nails it. This exact habit is the very thing that separates you from being average. It's kind of your biggest challenge, but it's also your greatest superpower.
So, how does this really intense inner world of yours actually affect how you deal with other people? Let's move on to our next section and find out your equation with people.
And this is a big one. This is where people can really get you wrong. Sign number 3 is that classic mix-up where people think you're lazy when the reality is you're just being incredibly selective. People might see you pause before starting something and immediately think, oh, they're just procrastinating. But what's really going on is you don't just do things blindly. You're actually taking a second to figure out if this task is even worth your energy in the first place. It's all about strategy, not laziness.
Coming in at number 4 is something that feels like a bit of a superpower, an amazing ability to read people. This is that gut feeling, you know? That strong intuition that tells you right away if someone's being real or just putting on an act. And the result of having this ability? It means you're all about quality over quantity when it comes to friends. You're drawn to people who are genuine and you're almost repelled by fakeness. So yeah, your social circle might be smaller, but you can bet it's built on solid, real connections.
All right, for our final 2 signs, let's talk about something really at the core of who you are, your own identity. Sign number 5 is all about what pulls you in. While a lot of people are out there chasing the latest trends, you're on a completely different path. You follow your own curiosity. Your interests are fueled by a real desire to know and understand, not by what's popular this week.
And now we've come to the final sign, and you have to hear how the source material describes this one. It actually says, after all, this sign is the most dangerous. I mean, wow. So what on earth could it be? So this most dangerous sign, it's actually a sign of incredible strength, emotional control. And no, this doesn't mean you're cold or you don't have feelings. It's the powerful skill of not reacting on impulse. In any situation, you have this ability to just observe first, process what's happening, and only then do you respond.
That pause, that little bit of space between what happens and how you respond, that's where your power is. This quality is literally a hallmark of mental strength. It's the huge difference between being in control and just being in chaos. So we've covered all 6 signs, from deep thinking to emotional control. Let's put it all together and figure out, what does this all actually mean? Okay, have a look at this. If you recognized maybe 1 or 2 signs in yourself, that's pretty common. But if you were nodding along to 3 or 4 of these, it is highly likely that you have a rare type of mind. And if 5 or 6 of them hit home, well, you are in a very, very small group of people. So I really want you to take a second and just think about it. Looking back on everything we just went over, how many of these signs did you genuinely see in yourself?
And that brings us to the final and honestly, the most important question. If this whole breakdown has helped you realize that, yeah, your mind really is different, the real challenge isn't just knowing it, it's deciding what you're going to do with it. So, how will you use it?